I never meant to become the guy who runs a coffee shop in Seattle's underbelly, slinging lattes to tech bros by day and solace to the forgotten by night. But life has a way of grinding you down like over-roasted beans. Doesn't it? I'm Hunter Kane, 32 going on ancient, owner of the Driftwood Brew. Tucked in a brick-faced corner of Capitol Hill where the hipsters clash with the homeless like waves on jagged rocks. The place smells like fresh grounds and regret, with mismatched wooden tables scarred from too many spilled secrets, and a chalkboard menu that reads like a love letter to caffeine. Black is your ex's soul, for the straight-up drip. It started on a Tuesday in October, the kind of gray-skied morning where the city feels like it's holding its breath. I'd flipped the open sign at dawn, the bell above the door tinkling like a hesitant apology. Business was slow. Tourists scared off by the drizzle, locals nursing hangovers from pride after-parties that lingered too long into fall. I was behind the counter, wiping down the espresso machine, when she shuffled in. Not a storming entrance, no dramatic collapse, just a quiet invasion, like fog creeping under the door. She was ancient in that timeless way street life etches into you. 60-something, maybe 70, with hair like steel wool matted under a threadbare knit cap, and eyes the color of tarnished silver, sharp as switchblades. Her coat was layers of newspaper and thrift store wool, patched with duct tape that whispered of duct tape dreams. She didn't beg. She just stood there, dripping onto the welcome mat, staring at the pastry case like it held the secrets to her salvation. "Ma'am," I said, leaning over the counter, my voice softer than I intended. Seattle politeness, or maybe just the echo of my own mom's voice in my head. She'd raised me single in this same city, teaching me that kindness was the only currency that didn't depreciate. She looked up, those eyes pinning me like a moth to corkboard. "Coffee, black, and whatever that smells like heaven." Her voice was gravel and gin, laced with an East Coast twang that didn't match the Pacific Northwest drawl. I nodded, no questions, poured her a mug from the house pot, bold roast, no frills, and slid over a day-old scone, flaky with blueberries that had seen better days. "On the house?" I muttered, waving off her half-hearted protest. She ate like it was her last meal, crumbs dusting her lap like fallen stars, and for the first time in weeks, the shop felt less empty. She came back the next day, and the next. By week 2, she had a name, Etta. Etta Malone. She'd grunt when I asked, settling into the corner booth by the window, the one with the best view of the alley cats and the occasional drag queen hustling for tips. I'd comp her meals. Oatmeal on cold mornings, turkey sandwiches when the fog lifted enough for her to wander farther. In return, she'd spin tales that hooked me deeper than any bestseller on the shelf by the register. Etta wasn't born homeless. She was forged in it. Grew up in Boston's South End, back when Irish Catholics like her family packed 10 to a brownstone, dodging Tammany Hall ghosts. "Lost my husband to Nam," she'd say, sipping her coffee slow as confession. "Then the bottle took me." Kids scattered like pigeons. 2 in Cali chasing Silicon Dreams. 1. Well, one's a story for another rain. Her laugh was a bark, but her eyes would drift to the street, chasing shadows. I listened because that's what you do in a place like the Driftwood. People spill more than cream here. They pour out their guts over foam art that melts too fast. Me? I spill back sometimes. How I bought the shop with a loan from my mom's life insurance after she passed from the Big C 3 years back. How I'd always known I was gay. Knew it at 15 when Tommy Riley's kiss behind the bleachers lit me up like 4th of July fireworks. But Seattle's rainbows came with thorns. Dated a string of baristas and barflies, all fizz and no finish. "You're a soft touch, Hunter," my best friend Lila would tease, the tattooed lesbian who bartended next door. "Gonna adopt every stray in this city." Etta became my stray. By November, she'd linger till close, helping stack chairs with hands that trembled from the chill, or whatever demons nipped at her heels. One night, as I locked up, she pressed a crumpled photo into my palm. Yellowed edges, a Polaroid of a boy. No, a man now, mid-20s, grinning wide under a Red Sox cap, arms slung around her shoulders in some sun-drenched park. "My Alex," she whispered, voice thick as the espresso sludge. "Ran off to your rainy hellhole 5 years back. Chasing art or ghosts, who knows? If you see him, tell him Ma's still kicking." I pocketed it, heart twisting in that stupid, hopeful way it does when fate winks. I'll keep an eye out, Etta. Promise. Fate's a bitch with a sense of humor. 2 weeks later, the door chimed mid-rush. Holiday crowds buzzing for gingerbread lattes, and in walked Trouble wrapped in a leather jacket and a smile that could melt glaciers. He was tall, built like a lumberjack who'd traded axes for sketchbooks. Messy blonde curls peeking from a beanie, green eyes flecked with mischief, and a jaw that begged to be traced with fingertips. Canvas backpack slung over one shoulder, jeans faded at the knees, boots scuffed from city miles. "Large Americano extra shot," he said, leaning on the counter, voice low and warm like aged bourbon. Up close, he smelled like charcoal pencils and pine, artist definitely. I fumbled the pour, splashing foam like an idiot. "Coming right up. You. From around here." He chuckled, that sound rumbling straight to my gut. "Nah, Boston transplant. Name's Alex. You. Hunter. This is my place." I handed over the cup, our fingers brushing, electric accidental, but neither of us pulled away fast. He lingered, sketching idly on a napkin while sipping. Quick lines of the barista with the nose ring, the couple arguing over scones. Talent dripped off him like rain from eaves. By the time he left, promising to return, I had his number scribbled on the receipt. For the loyalty card, I'd lied, but we both knew. Etta noticed him that afternoon, her booth vantage perfect for eavesdropping. "Blondie got you flustered, eh?" she cackled as I cleared her plate. "Eyes like my boy's. Careful, kid. Malone's are heartbreak in human form." I laughed it off, but that night, alone in my loft above the shop, I unfolded her photo under the desk lamp. The grin, the curls, it was him, Alex Malone, Etta's ghost son, flesh and bone, sketching my heart into ruins. What followed was a whirlwind that Seattle's winds could envy. Alex became a fixture. Mornings blending into afternoons, his backpack claiming the stool by the pastry case. We'd talk for hours, him about murals in abandoned warehouses, dreams of gallery shows that always slipped like wet soap, me about the shop's quirks, how the beans from Ethiopian co-ops tasted like hope ground fine. He was out and proud, no apologies. Tattoos snaking up his arms, telling stories of Boston bashes and Seattle flings. "You're different, Hunter," he'd say, green eyes locking mine over cooling mugs. "Steady, like this place. Makes a guy want to stay." Our first kiss happened on a rare, clear night, December solstice stars punching through the clouds. I'd closed early, dragged him to the rooftop deck I jury-rigged from salvaged pallets. Mulled wine in thermoses, fairy lights strung like drunken fireflies. He leaned in first, hesitant, lips tasting of cinnamon and salt. Nerves, maybe, or the sea air. Mine met his fierce, hands fisting his jacket as if he'd vanish like smoke. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed, the city sprawling below like a lover's promise. From there, it was poetry in motion. Stolen shifts where he'd man the register, flirting shameless with regulars. Lazy Sundays tangled in my sheets, his sketches papering the walls, me asleep, me laughing, me raw and exposed. He moved in by New Year's, his duffel bursting with paints and ghosts. Etta approved at first, her eyes twinkling when he'd visit her bench in California Anderson Park, bringing thermoses of soup. "My boys," she'd croon, patting our linked hands. "Fate's got a soft spot for strays. But strays have teeth." Early February, the rains turned biblical, flooding alleys and fraying tempers. Alex grew distant. Phone calls from old contacts in Boston. Sketches turning darker, strokes like slashes. "Family stuff," he'd mutter, pulling away when I'd press. One night, after a shift where he'd snapped at a customer, I found him on the couch, Etta's photo clutched in his fist. "Talk to me?" I begged, kneeling before him, thumbs tracing his knuckles. He exhaled, shattered. "Ma's sick. Liver shot from years on the bottle. Docs in Boston say months, maybe. She wants me home. For good." The air sucked out of the room. Etta. Our Etta, who'd vanished from her booth a week prior. Whispers of a hospital bed floating through the park grapevine. I scoured wards, left notes, but nothing. Now, here was the truth. She'd played us, her accidental photo plant a hook to reel him back. "Go," I said, voice steady as I broke inside. "Family first. I'll hold the fort." He kissed me then, desperate, promising calls, visits. lies we both swallowed. But as he packed, Etta appeared at the door like a specter, thinner, jaundice yellowing her skin, but eyes fierce. "Thank you, Hunter," she rasped, hugging me tight, smelling of antiseptic and regret. "For the meals. For him." I nodded, throat closing. Alex loaded her into a cab that night, his goodbye a ghost of a touch on my cheek. "I love you," he whispered. "This isn't the end. But ends have a way of sneaking up like dawn fog." The silence after they left was a living thing, coiling around the shop like kudzu on a forgotten fence. I reopened the driftwood the next morning on autopilot, measuring grounds, steaming milk, forcing smiles for the line of oblivious patrons clutching their totes emblazoned with "Keep Seattle Weird." Lila cornered me at lunch, her pierced eyebrow arched like a question mark. "Spill, Kane. You look like someone pissed in your pour-over." I did, haltingly. Etta's con, Alex's flight, the ache blooming black in my chest. She hugged me fierce, smelling of gin and sage smudges. "That old bat played you like a fiddle. But love? That's no con. He'll be back." Optimism tasted like ash, but I clung to it, wiring money for Etta's meds, texting Alex blurry photos of the shop's first cherry blossoms. His replies dwindled. "Miss you," turning to "hanging in," to radio silence by March. I threw myself into the grind, expanded the menu with gluten-free scones, hosted open mics where poets bled verses about lost loves. Nights, I'd climb to the roof, nursing a flask, staring at the Space Needle's glow like it owed me answers. Was he holding her hand in some fluorescent Boston ward? Sketching her frail form into eternity? Spring thawed the streets, but not me. Etta's bench stayed empty. Word came via a park ranger that she'd passed in her sleep, peaceful, clutching a napkin sketch Alex had left. Our rooftop, stars and all. He didn't call, didn't write. The betrayal festered. Not just hers, but his, choosing blood over the man who'd fed his mother, body and soul. Then, late April, the door chimed with purpose. Not Alex, but a ghost of him. A courier in a yellow vest, thrusting a manila envelope into my hands. Alex Malone. Personal. My pulse thundered as I tore it open behind the counter, ignoring the curious glances. Inside, a gallery invite, crisp black cardstock. Solstice Shadows, works by Alex Malone. Opening, May 15th, Fremont Foundry. And a note, scrawled in his familiar slant. "Hunter, come see what you inspired. Still yours. Hope's a cruel addict." I went, of course, dressed in my best button-down, the silver chain he'd clasped around my neck our last night. The foundry buzzed. Artsy crowd in ironic tees, sipping Pinot from plastic flutes, murmuring over canvases that screamed Alex's soul. There he was, cornered by collectors, curls tamed, smile polished, but his eyes found mine across the room, igniting like struck flint. We collided in a storage alcove, his arms crushing me close, lips crashing desperate. "God, I missed this," he groaned against my mouth, hands roaming like they'd never left. Apologies tumbled. Etta's declined faster than feared, her deathbed plea for him to stay, to honor the family name she'd tarnished. She guilted me, Hunter, said I'd kill her seeing me happy with a man. But it was her dying that freed me, made me see I can't live half alive. I pulled back, anger surging hot. "You ghosted me, left me to grieve alone, wondering if our forever was just Seattle rain. Here today, gone tomorrow." His face crumpled, raw. "I know, I'm poison, like her. But these." He dragged me to the walls, pointing, murals of us. My laugh in latte foam, our kiss under lights, Etta's booth a throne of redemption. "You're in every stroke. Come back with me. Boston's got nothing on us." Temptation clawed deep. That night, we tumbled into his sublet, bodies rediscovering rhythms lost to grief, slow, then frantic, whispers of never again, sealing sweat-slick skin. He talked of relocating the gallery dream west, of us building something unbreakable. I believed or wanted to, waking to his coffee brew and sketches of a future unmarred. But cracks spiderwebbed fast. His phone buzzed constant, siblings demanding shares of Etta's meager estate, old flames circling like vultures. "Just tying loose ends," he'd say, but his sketches shifted. My face fading into Boston brick, rain turning to snow. By June, visits stretched thin. Weekends promised became calls at dawn, voice laced with excuses. Family drama, he'd sigh. Give me time. Time's a thief bolder than Etta. Lila saw it first over closing shift beers. He's yanking your chain, Hunter. Like mother, like son. Cut bait before you drown. I resisted, clinging to fragments. A postcard of Fenway, a voice memo of him humming our song. But July's heat wave baked doubt into certainty. I flew east unannounced, landing in Logan with a duffel and delusion. His address led to a walk-up in Jamaica Plain. The door cracked on laughter, his and another's. I froze in the frame. Alex, shirtless, tangled on the couch with a guy, brunette, built, lips locked in a kiss that echoed our first. The stranger pulled back, spotting me, but Alex's face drained white. Hunter? Shit, wait. Betrayal's blade twists slow. I dropped the key I'd carried like a talisman, turning into the humid night. He chased, barefoot on cracked sidewalks. Please ragged. It was a mistake. Rebound shit after Ma's stuff hit the fan. You're the one, I swear. I wheeled, rain starting, fate's ironic encore. You took from me, Alex, the shop's heart, my trust. Etta fed on kindness, then bled it dry. You're her echo. Promises for scraps, love for leverage. My voice broke, fists clenched. Go back to your half-life. I'm done being the safety net. He crumpled there on a stranger's stoop, but I walked, hailing a cab to the airport, the city lights blurring through tears. Back in Seattle, the driftwood welcomed me like an old dog, loyal, unjudging. I poured a double, toasting ghosts. To strays who teach you to guard your own fire. Summer waned into fall, the shop thriving on my reinvention. Queer artist pop-ups, storytelling nights where patrons shared scars over signature, heartbreak hazelnut. Lila moved in upstairs, our platonic chaos a bomb. No word from Alex, good riddance, or so I told the mirror. Yet echoes linger. One crisp October eve, as leaves skittered like confetti, the door chimed soft. A woman, mid-40s, poised in wool coat and pearls. Etta's daughter, the Cali one, per the obituary. Hunter Kane? She asked, voice refined, extending a hand. I'm Sarah. Ma spoke of you often. This is yours. She pressed a package. Leather-bound sketchbook, Alex's hand on every page. Hundreds of us, unfinished symphonies of what could have been. Tucked inside a letter. You were my anchor, Hunter. I cut the line to save us both from sinking. Forgive me. Lie fierce. Tears pricked, but I breathed deep, the shop's aroma grounding me. Forgiveness isn't absolution. It's release. I shelved the book by the register, open to a drawing of Etta laughing, whole, redeemed. That night, on the roof, stars sharp as new beginnings, I raised a mug to the void. Thanks for the lessons, old ghosts. The brew's better without the bitterness. Seattle whispered back, rain-kissed and resilient, and for the first time in months I believed it. No, that wasn't the end, not by a long shot. Life in the Emerald City doesn't wrap neat like a Hallmark script. It unravels in fits and starts, threads of what-ifs tangling under overcast skies. The sketchbook became my talisman, flipped through during slow shifts, each page a stab and a salve. Alex's lines captured me alive. Laugh lines crinkling, stubble catching light. That scar from a childhood skateboarding wipeout he'd traced with lips one dawn. Your art, Hunter, he'd murmured then. Now, it mocked from paper a love letter in absentia. Word spread in the Hills grapevine. The coffee shop owner with the Midas touch for strays, but a heart armored in flannel. Customers trickled in with their own tales. Divorcees nursing mochas, trans kids sketching futures on napkins, turning the driftwood into a confessional. I hired Javier, a quiet queer kid fresh from community college, to handle afternoons. His playlist of Halsey and Chappell Roan kept the vibe electric. Lila and I hosted X-Files Fridays, where we'd roast bad dates over free refills, laughter echoing till last call. But ghosts don't fade easy. November brought Thanksgiving, the holiday that turns family into fault lines. I volunteered at a shelter downtown, ladling turkey gravy to lines that snaked like Etta's regrets. There, amid the steam and stories, I met Theo, mid-30s, wiry with salt and pepper scruff, eyes like smoked quartz holding steady under the fluorescent buzz. He was a social worker, burned out from case files thicker than my mom's old Bible, volunteering to give back what the system's stolen. We bonded over pie slices, him admitting, "Lost my partner to AIDS back in the 90s, before the cocktails. Taught me love's a fight, not a fairy tale." His candor disarmed me. No games, just gravel-voiced truths laced with dry wit. By dessert, we'd swapped numbers, promising coffee. Not the pity kind, but the real brew. Our first date was low stakes. A walk through Discovery Park, salt air whipping off the sound, trails crunching under boots. Theo didn't pry about Alex, but shared his own scars. Catholic guilt from rural Oregon. Coming out at 22 to a shotgun-wielding dad. "Ran to Seattle like it was Oz," he said, hand brushing mine accidental on purpose. "Turns out, rainbows here too have rust." I opened up slow. Edda's warmth turning to winter, Alex's vanishing act a punch to the solar plexus. Betrayal's the real homelessness. I confessed as gulls wheeled overhead. No roof, no roots. Just you and the storm. He stopped, cupped my face gentle, thumb grazing that scar. Then build new, Hunter, brick by brick, with someone who stays for the squalls. The kiss was tentative, tasting of sea and second chances. Nothing like Alex's fire, but steady, like driftwood holding shore. We took it slow. Dinners at his cramped queen and apartment, filled with vinyls of Springsteen and poetry slams. Lazy Sundays at the shop, him reading Vonnegut while I frothed oat milk. Theo was the anti-drama. Grounded, with a laugh that rumbled like distant thunder. Hands calloused from community gardens but tender on my skin. By Christmas, he'd woven into my world seamless. Stringing lights in the shop's rafters, baking gingerbread men with Javier's help. Lopsided, but fierce. Lila vetted him over eggnog. Solid. No mommy issues I can spot. Even the sketchbook gathered dust. Alex's echoes muffled by Theo's baritone humming Wonderwall off-key. But January's chill carries barbs. A parcel arrived postmarked Boston. No sender, just Theo's name on the label. A gut twist I hid. Curiosity won. Inside, a watercolor set, high-end pigments in tubes like promises. And a card. "Heard you're the man who's tamed my brother's heart. Paint him pretty. Sarah M." Theo's face lit when I handed it over, oblivious to the knife in my ribs. Edda's daughter? Small world. He didn't press, but I saw the questions in his eyes later, over stir-fry in his kitchen. "You okay? That ex of yours?" "Fine," I lied, chopping carrots vicious. But sleep evaded, dreams splicing Theo's smile with Alex's ghost. Edda cackling from shadows. Fate, that meddlesome bartender, poured double. February 14th, Valentine's deluge. Roses wilting in buckets by the door. I was restocking beans when the chime mocked me again. Alex, leaner, curls longer, bundled in a peacoat that screamed East Coast chic. Hunter. The shop hushed, regulars sensing drama thicker than fog. Theo was in the back, inventorying syrups. I waved him off silent. Exhibits over. Turn around. He didn't. Stepped closer, green eyes storm-tossed. I saw the invite online, your pop-up with local queer artists. Drove straight through. Need to explain. No. My voice cracked, fists balled. You explained plenty when you chose her bed over ours. Pain flashed, raw. Ma's gone 6 months. Estate settled, sold the house, paid debts. Been in therapy, Hunter. Facing the Malone curse. We run when it hurts. He glanced at the counter, spotting the sketchbook propped like accusation. You kept it. Burned half to ash. I snapped, half true. What do you want, Alex? Absolution? A pity fuck? You. Simple, shattering. Saw your posts, the shop thriving, you glowing. Realized I painted us perfect because you made me whole. Let me try again. Please. The door swung. Theo emerged, arms crossed, Court's eyes narrowing. Recognition dawned. Alex's posture, the family jaw. This the ghost. Tension crackled, electric as a downed wire. Alex extended a hand. Yeah, and you must be the upgrade. Theo snorted but gripped firm. Nah, just the sequel. One that sticks. Alex deflated, but lingered, pleading in whispers as closing neared. One coffee, for old times. I poured, black, steaming between us at the corner booth. Edda's throne. He talked. Therapy breakthroughs, gallery gigs flopping into freelance hell, dreams of a life not chained to ghosts. Sarah mentioned Theo, said he's good for you, but I can't stop sketching your face. It's killing me slow. My resolve frayed, threads pulling. Theo watched from afar, giving space but stealing glances. Jealousy? Trust? When Alex left, number fresh on a napkin, call if you waver. Theo locked the door, pulled me close. You choose, Hunter. But know this, I'm all in. No half measures. That night, in his bed, bodies entwined urgent, I chose silence. Lost in his rhythm, his whispers of mine. But dawn brought the napkin, crumpled in my pocket like sin. March roared in lion-like, storms lashing the sound. The shop weathered it. Fundraiser for homeless youth. My nod to Edda's memory. But my heart pitched. Alex's texts pinged sporadic. Dreamt of the roof. Saw a mural like ours. Theo noticed, his steadiness cracking into quiet pleas. Talk to me. Don't let him haunt us. I tried. Poured it out over park bench picnics. Admitting the pull. Alex's chaos a drug. Theo's calm a cure. It's not fair to you, I said, hating the waver in my voice. He squeezed my hand, wind-tousled. Love's not fair, but loyalty is. Decide, or it'll decide for you. The breaking came mid-month, a gallery crawl in Pioneer Square. Theo and I, arms linked, admiring neon abstracts. When Alex materialized, solo, suit sharp, champagne flute in hand. Fancy meeting you here. Theo stiffened, but played cool. Stalking now? Classy. Alex ignored, eyes on me, pleading. 5 minutes. Outside. Against better judgment, I followed. Alley damp with drizzle. This ends tonight, I said. Theo's real. Your regret. He stepped close, too close, breath mingling. Regret I'd trade for one more night with you. His hand cupped my neck, thumb on pulse. Familiar fire igniting. I leaned in, just a breath before shoving back. No. Firm. Final. You took my love once. Won't let you steal this one. He recoiled. Shattered. I get it. Deserve it. But if he breaks you, doors open. Back inside. Theo waited, brow furrowed. You good. I kissed him deep, public, unapologetic, claiming us amid the crowd. Better than. Let's go home. Spring bloomed tentative, cherry petals confetti on our path. Alex faded. A final postcard. Proud of you, sketching new horizons. And we burned it together, ashes to the wind. By summer, the Driftwood hosted our commitment ceremony. Vows exchanged over vows of coffee, friends toasting with, to strays who find harbors. Theo's ring glinted simple silver, matching mine, as we danced slow under strung lights. His head on my shoulder, heartbeat steady. Edda's ghost smiled somewhere, I like to think. Not thief, but teacher. Love isn't given free. It's earned in the downpour, held through the gale. And in Seattle's endless rain, we built our ark, 2 souls unbowed. Yet even arcs leak, don't they? August's heat dome baked the city into submission. Air conditioners wheezing like old men, tempers flaring hotter than the asphalt. The shop adapted, iced lattes flowing like rivers, outdoor seating under misting fans. But Theo and I hit a snag, subtle as a hairline fracture. His caseload swelled with summer evictions, kids couch surfing in the heat. My nights stretched late with inventory, dreams haunted by what-ifs. We'd collapse into bed spent, touches turning perfunctory, words sparse as sunbreaks. Miss the fire, he admitted one evening, over takeout pho in the loft, sweat beading on his temples, fan whirring futile. Feels like we're roommates with benefits. I reached across the Formica table, lacing fingers. Blame the grind. We're solid, Theo. Remember the crawl? That was us choosing. He nodded, but eyes shadowed. Yeah, just Alex's postcard. You kept it. Guilt twisted, sharp. I tucked it in the sketchbook, a talisman turned anchor. Burned it like we said. He's passed. Lies have half-lives. September ushered cooler winds, but unrest brewed. Lila announced her move to Portland. Bigger queer scene, less tech bro vomit. Leaving a void in our orbit. Solo shifts amplified doubts. Customers' flirtations, harmless mostly, stirred echoes of Alex's electric pull. Theo dove deeper into work, volunteering overtime at the shelter, coming home smelling of other people's despair. The rift widened October 1st. A fight over nothing. Forgotten anniversary of our first kiss. Him late from a case. Me stewing with a flask on the roof. "You're checked out," I accused, rain pattering like accusations. He fired back, voice raw. "And you're mooning over ghosts. I see it, Hunter, the way you linger on that book. Am I the consolation prize?" Stunned, I recoiled. "No, you're the win." Alex was chaos. "You're safe." He laughed bitter, shoulders slumping. "That's the problem. You crave the storm, and I'm just the calm after." We made up fractured, sex like patching drywall, words mumbled in dark. But seeds sown fester. November's chill brought Edda's anniversary, her bench now a plaque. For wanderers seeking warmth. I visited alone, tracing letters, whispering thanks and curses. Theo understood, but distance grew. Texts over dinners. "Love you," tacked like afterthoughts. Crisis crested mid-month. A call shattering glass at 2 a.m. Theo's voice. Wrecked. Hospital. Car accident, client's dad. Road rage on I-5. "I'm okay, but come." I flew downtown, heart hammering. Finding him in ER blues, stitched brow and bruised ribs, but alive. Miracle in scrubs. "Idiot swerved at me," he rasped, gripping my hand white-knuckled. "Thought of you, how I'd failed us." Tears hot, I held him as nurses buzzed. "No failing. We're here. Together." Recovery was a cocoon. Me shuttling soup and stories to his bedside. Shop running on Javier's grit. Vulnerability bonded us anew. Late-night confessions over Jell-O cups. His fears of inadequacy, my terror of loss. "Alex taught me passion," I admitted, stroking his hair. "But you teach endurance. That's rarer." Discharge brought renewal. We repainted the loft in seafoam greens, hung Theo's watercolors. Bold strokes of us, unframed and free. Holidays healed. Thanksgiving with his Oregon kin, Dad gruff but thawing over turkey. Christmas at the shop, carols crooned with regulars. Alex's shadow? A footnote, the sketchbook donated to a youth art program. Fuel for new dreams, I told Javier. But humaneness demands depth, not saccharine bows. Winter solstice, longest night, Theo proposed under rooftop lights. Down on one knee, ring box trembling, words halting. "Hunter Kane, you've been my harbor. Marry me? Make this forever official?" Joy surged, but doubt nipped. Echoes of Edda's manipulations, Alex's flight. "Yes," I breathed, pulling him up, kiss sealing salt and starlight. Forever sounds good. Spring 2026 bloomed defiant. Wedding plans woven into shop life. Vows at a beachside bluff. Guest list blending baristas and shelter survivors. Invites went out, including one wild card. Sarah Malone, Alex's sister. For closure, Theo insisted, ever the social worker. Let ghosts dance at the feast. She came, elegant in linen, bearing a gift, Edda's locket, engraved "Strays Find Home." "He knows," she said softly, over cake at the reception. Sent his blessings, finally letting go. Across the crowd, Theo caught my eye, dancing with Javier, laugh booming. I joined, twirling into his arms, Puget Sound crashing approval. No betrayals left, just us, scarred and soaring. Years later, the driftwood stands sentinel, menu boasting Malone mocha, dark roast with a twist of redemption. Edda's plaque gleams, a reminder. Love's no free lunch. It's earned in downpours, redeemed in rainbows. And in America's gritty heart, where queers like us carve homes from chaos. That's the real brew, bitter, bold, eternally human.